And we're back. Another day, more dev. Um, Shrink that down. Forgot to check something here. Okay, so pause that. Pause that. And now, I'm going to pull up my to-do list. So, we're at the point of I got stagger in, and I'm going to make the stagger. Let's go to database players, class, chanter. And I'm going to, I don't think I have, yeah, so this critical hit ones I don't have spells yet, or enchant stuff yet. So enchant, weapon, um, R1C. I think R1C is probably fine. I'm going to probably back away from using critical hit and use critical cast or critical ability. Yeah, that's fine. And so R1 weapon enchant. Copy all of this. Copy here. And we're going to battery name. And we're going to add, maybe I don't do battery name here. It's going to be R1C. At some point, I'm going to be doing some renaming of stuff. So I'm going to go to the kit and enchant weapons R1C. And make sure I step through this properly. I probably should still use critical. Or maybe I just go away from critical in general. Just do empowered. Group stagger. And this one is now R1C. Open this guy up. R1C. And this actually stays the same. Yeah, that's gonna. I'm gonna have to, man, friggin' enchanter and new features. Buff, debuff of probably gameplay tag, overwrites, others of same tag. example. Group stagger will overwrite single stagger. I kind of I can refresh it right now. So at the moment, I'll just keep the durations all about the same. Yeah, that's fine. And then over here, we're actually doing the same thing. So we technically I could technically leave this. I'm going to leave it as its own thing. And then yeah, I'll leave them all as themselves for now. But the spell itself is no longer a direct target. It's an AoE. Hitbox will be about 1500. And then we're not going to do any scaling. And the size, that's the wrong mesh. Give me ring. Ring's probably fine. Yeah, let's start with the ring. Alright, so right now I have a single cast. This and that. And now if we rotate to R1. There we go. So it did it for everyone. Now The location's all messed up. Targeting is actually direction, location, action owner, current. Let's try a ground location. Let's see if it works with all the changes I've done. A location. Location is location select. Let's see what happens with that. Okay. What do I have set in vertical thread data tables here? I think that's the difference. Okay, T. Okay, go upstairs. I'll be right there. It's not. I mean, I could do it that way. But then you have to like kind of do this to target yourself, and that's weird. Um, Hmm. Mouse, ally, location. Let's try this again. Okay. So why is my ground targeting broke? Um, ground location. Okay. Target helpers there. Targetings. Direction. Direction. Yeah, I need to get these working. So why is mouse not targeting not working? Let's go to targeting component. might be in, for now, I think I just need these two. Close my windows, clean up. And then this is, I might also need the input component. Okay, I see. Okay. Target helper on. On. Okay. Static mesh settings, decal settings. I believe it's this guy. Okay, so it might just be as simple as doing this. Maybe I'll keep first person there. We'll bring them all here. Let's give that might fix it. All right. Okay, almost there. Something's blocking it. It's probably something on the character itself that's blocking it, but we have to make a different channel. Alright, I need to go to the bathroom real quick. I am back. My internet is a little funky today. It's been going like up and down a bunch. But we stream anyways. Okay, so first things first, on the targeting, I think this is using, so top-down select. Let's go to the character ourselves. We need to make sure nothing's blocking that. Player master. And it's probably this, maybe. Okay. So no collision. I will still make sure that's off. Wait, what? I should definitely not have collision on it. Alright, so that's the master. Let's see if that improves anything. Nope, it's still blocking it. It's so strange. Something clearly on the character. On all characters, it seems like something's blocking it. So it must be on the child's. It's sort of nice that it does it for enemies and stuff. Just not your own character. Okay, so let's go. Classes. Blueprint. Or class. Character. Archer. Let's try, I guess, enchant our first. Already know I'm doing this the dumb way. I should be just doing this. Print. Hit component. It'll tell me what I'm hitting. it's hitting the stack. How is a UI blocking the bloody thing? That is wild. Master player. That is just wild. Should ignore everything. Then we'll do AI master. I wonder if nameplate and then threat meter too here. No collision, custom. All right, maybe that works now. Okay. This should see me too far away. Okay, it does not, but it's supposed to. There's still something. Collision cylinder. I can't tell if that's kind of a nice feature. It kind of snaps to that one collision cylinder. So it kind of helps you lock on targets. It's like a soft locking mechanism. But maybe that in an intense, if there's like lots of people around, it'd kind of get in the way. Okay. So I hit 3, and now I can select, whatever I want. I need to fix the max range though. If I click over here, I cast it over there. Now I do need a better decal. decal. And then I also need to make sure these don't get for decals. Those look good. Okay, well, not the one I want, but looking better. All right, let's do some sizing and hitbox stuff here. So I don't want this one. Let's try this. Okay, solid. Decal, circle, faded. Nope, not that one. That's probably good for now. And then we need to almost double the size. This could be one. No, it cannot be one. Okay. All right, we're not even testing based on the right thing. I need to turn on debugging. Holy moly, it's massive. Okay, I definitely don't want it that big. Let's go 500, 500. And this should be .5.5.5, I think. Okay, the decal is still way too big. 10. It's pretty close. The effect itself is kind of off right now. Like 1.25. A little bit too big. And then the effect targeting is ally and self. No. It still feels, maybe 1 is okay. Maybe 1.1. Okay, that's pretty good. I think that's pretty accurate there. There we go. Now we all get it. And now here's the test. I need to put my pet up, cast it, and then we both should get it. Well, technically the pet will use the crit, so that won't exactly work. So I'd have to do something like so my pet's up. I need more mana for all this. Don't have a command to grant me mana and stuff yet. Alright, so now I think I'm at, so now I can do like shift, and now we have a, oh, it would be like R1 here, and now we both have the stagger buff. Okay. I'll have to figure out how that feels and stuff. Technically, on your pet, you'd probably just be doing the normal one, but okay. At the very least, it's working. That you can ground target. Yeah. You can properly ground target now. Now I have one thing of, there's a little bit of inconsistencies here. I think when I'm releasing the spell, it's casting it, and I don't want that. So if I hold it down and release, maybe I'm just like clicking by accident or something. Alright, so for one, there's a weird reason. The max range, we go to the targeting component. This is working right now. And I'm going to have to set up a max range here. So for one, I need to go to the bathroom again. BRB. Okay. So there needs to be a max distance here. Action current. So targeting range. Cast range. Okay, so why is this not being used anywhere else? That's weird. So we set the variables. Okay, so we're just going to do a distance check here. So we're going to get the owner. We're going to do distance. I guess we'll do actor, actor location. And then we're going to do a distance between vectors, distance vector. If it is greater than the cast range, we're going to do nothing. Okay, we will do this again over here. And target location is set here. So this should limit how far it can go. There we go. Okay, I can make this better. So if it's true, we're going to set the world location. I guess all we need to do is actually adjust the target location. So we're not going to do this. We're not going to prevent it from doing anything. We're going to move this over. And then if this location, I think I can actually make this a function too. Let's class the function. ROT, target helper, max range. And branch or value. I don't know. We'll hold that thought. So we go in here. We have this set up. So we're getting the hit distance. And if it's greater than the cast range, false. Or it's like outside range. And if we are not here, we just do things normal. False. And then we would do get actor rotation, forward, vector, times float, just the cast range, and we'll do trace location, get trace location, or no, it's not trace location, it is get actor location. Look at rotation from here to the trace location. Right? So the rotation from the actor itself to the new trace location multiplied by the max range. That I believe gives us our output range. So we branch here. If it's false, we just do everything normal. If it's true, we just use this range or location. Let's see if that works. Close. It's still doing, I feel like, the actor rotation. Alright, so first up, which path is it doing? So blocking hit. I want to just print this so I know. Blocking. Not blocking, or like missing. So I get the action owner, the look rotation to where the current trace is. Oh, I didn't do the plus. That's what I'm missing. There we go. Then if I click here, it casts at the max range. Beautiful. Now that's a weird thing that happens right now. Blocking, blocking, blocking. Sometimes it's like casting it when I don't want it to cast. It's weird it's not saying not blocking. Like if we're, I think honestly, go back here. If it's a not blocking hit, I just do nothing. Um, this is over here. Yeah, I don't think I need this code at all right now. Because if we're not blocking, we don't want to do anything really. And we technically, if we're not blocking, just do so let's see how this functions. Okay, well I don't want that. Excuse me. Sorry. And it's still saying blocking, which is the weird part. But it's going to 0. And I obviously don't want 0. But this is working good. And so... Let me double check. So this is hitting, but the value is 0. So we need to change that. And then let's, so if this equals 0, 0, 0, maybe with a variance of 3. Excuse me. Okay. Spell. Okay. So if for some reason there's a 0 location, it just stops doing it, moving it. So if I go up here and click, it still casts in the right spot. So it's not going to bug out somewhere weird. Yeah, I think that's polished up. Usable now. And so if I do right click, it's supposed to cancel. So I need to get that in. So I think this is solved largely. But then on the input component, okay, so slot 2, input action. I think it's here. Make a custom thing. So we're not going to do this. I don't think we could even need to do that. We're going to get the targeting component. If it's true, this might not work. No, that should work. Let's give it a try. My internet's being weird. Alright, so cancel. And then, cool. Why did that go somewhere else? That's weird. Why are pets acting all funny? What the? Okay, so why are they using a ground location? Or ground location's not being reset, I guess, is the problem. So if we go to input, so when target helper turns off, that thing's supposed to do there. Ground location? Ground target. Okay. Final location. Okay. What? Get target location. Okay, so I guess we just target location. Two zero zero zero. That might fuck it up, but we'll see. Or no, it shouldn't set it up. Or maybe it will. So it works there. It doesn't not work until I use the ground target tool. Okay. If I cancel. Okay, that works now. And then I think I fixed it. And now if I actually cast it. Okay, so that's okay. So fixed one thing, broke another. So I need a different call for this then. Let's do an interface. INF, RT, clear, target, helper, location. Just make it. And then we also call here. All right, so if I hit this and right click, it goes away. And I hit shift, it spawns it properly. And now I need to actually cast it and see if it goes away after. No, it doesn't. So, I have a successful cast. But you know what? I'm just not resetting. Whatever. This works. This should work fine. Alright, so here's my thing. I right click to clear it. And I can cast. And he spawns there. Which means it's being, the location, cast location is being cleared properly. And then I can place it. And now cast it. And it's in the right spot. So that looks like it's working right now. I will increase, it needs to be a bit smoother. So we're going to up it to 0.1. Let's try max once per frame. Let's see if it feels any better. Yeah, that's way better. It's all client side, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, this is really nice. I may turn off that automatic rotate. It's useful in like top-down games, but I think I need to turn that automatic rotate off. I think that's in the input when I complete the cast. I don't think it's necessary. Yeah, that's way better. Doesn't feel as clunky. Sweet. Alright, the ground selection tool is polished up for Tearyn. I haven't used it yet. Okay. Right on. That's all good to go. And what now? So now I want to make sure it does use critical hit and does increase the rotation set. Turn this off for a second. Yeah, that's good. Mana cost, I can probably increase it to, what's the mana cost? 10? I'll keep it at 10, whatever. Okay, let's edit these. Enchant weapons. So, okay. And then R2 is damage proc buff. R2 crit. Don't really need to, well, whatever. 5-minute duration. What did it decide on the R3? Just a power buff. Okay. All right. So now, gotta add up here. System work. I didn't mean to click that. polished ground targeting for AoE spells for ROT. I don't need to do that. Obviously, it's for AOT. Okay. Now I think I can yeah, honestly, I think that's good. So now enchant weapon set 2, I think is already set up. This gives enchant weapons to proc damage. So this one's all the same. We just have to turn it into AoE. So we're going to go down to ROE2 here. I need to make an enchant. I might need to start classifying these things a little bit differently. I'm classifying them in slots right now, but I need to start classifying them as just individual spells soon. This is really inspiring work. I'm also growing UI UX and we'll be glad to connect with you're a bot. Apologize if you're not a bot, but that sounds like bot talk. Alright, so back to enchant weapon R2. I'm going to take all this and copy it here. And then this is going to be, oh, I need to rename everything. So we start here. And we are going to R2C. Brings this up. R2C. Which brings this up. Okay. Just make sure all this is set. Actually, this one I need to keep the same, I think. No, this is the actual damage. No, this is the passive. go to enchant weapon here. Make sure those are the same. These are all the same, so it doesn't matter, but that should work fine now. And then in the, now we're going to, I think we're just going to do, go to the here. Just going to copy this whole thing. Group damage. Go back here. Then we're changing this to R2C. Alright, so now, okay, this is not working right. Oh, did I not update the main kit? I don't think I did yet. Yep, that is stagger. Or damage. Yeah, I need to do an ally dummy as well. That would make things a lot easier. Oh, I still made him an enemy. Dirt. There we go. All right. Easy peasy. And then finally, so we have the R1 and R2 done. Now we do a new one for R3. And once again, let's go to the bathroom. BRB. All right. And so I will increase the mana cost, I think, here on crit spells. So we're going to make it at least double the cost. Indie MMORPG. Yes, it is, Melzy Mills. So we're Indie MMO. We're inspired by, I'll give you my big spiel here. We're inspired by EverQuest and WoW. We're kind of sit in between them. We always say like we're EQ and WoW had a baby. But a big notable like asterisk there is we do believe in like a lot of quality of life features. So we have a map, you know, all those things. You're going to be able to see during the day, you know, or during the night, all those aspects of it. Oh my God, I'm at the investor meeting. Yeah. Um, we started it at the end of 2024, and we do play tests. We do right now. I'm doing play tests at the end of every single month. We've done probably over 10 play tests at this point. A key factor is like our past. We built something called Vertical Third, which is game tech. It's a giant game architecture. We built it from 2019 to 2022, and we built that game tech in mind of building an MMO in the future. And so we sell Vertical Third on the on fab.com, and it's kind of like a massive game architecture. I have a bunch of content on like the tech side of what we're doing. Here's our channel. This is our you know, YouTube channel, and this is like the tech kind of stack we're doing with it. And then on Vertical Third itself, we have a giant video on game architecture as well. I know I'm like link spamming you, right? But so we have a background building game tech. Got 100 grand for it through Epic Mega Grants, and now we're actually building the MMO. And yeah, we you know, the grant was, our grants were like all done and stuff in like 2022, 2023 and whatnot. So it's all that money's been used up on you know, hardware and rent and stuff, keeping the lights on, so to speak. Only a few months after we started the project, we actually went on the official Unreal Engine live stream. And so here's another link for you. But that one is on the official Unreal Engine live stream. Like, we started it at the end of, you know, 2024, and we did that stream in like March of 2025. We have a couple core systems that make us unique. Right now, it's 3 that we're kind of doubling down on. And I'll show you a quick little preview of the world, right? We have kind of 2 main levels right now. We technically have 3 levels. We have like a newbie yard, then the after newbie area, and then a dungeon. But the dungeon is literally just a raid boss. That's all there is right there, right now. And so we play test, and like you can play one class for probably 10 to 20 hours, and we have 6 classes right now. There's a lot of kind of gameplay and content right now. And everything we do, I think I didn't pin it this time. Maybe I normally pin it. Pin. Yeah, so we do all our testing and stuff straight through the Epic Game Store. And so when our playtests are live, you just go there, download the demo, all that stuff. And so this is like the newbie yard. You kind of start out in this little town thing here, and there's target dummies that are set up. So we're kind of trying to, you know, the art style, obviously, like we only use placeholder art right now. It's all marketplace content stuff, because we're, you know, 1000% focused on gameplay and systems and stuff. But you start out here, we got like a little idea, you know, art style, but you get to move around, and then you get to fight some target dummies, just to get a good feeling of your movement and your game and the combat. It's like we're trying to sell people on that, right? Come out here, and you get to kill some like animals and stuff, and then you kind of move into camping monsters in these different camps, and through the crafting town, you can do a bunch of crafting here. And this is like a spider camp, a bandit camp, a undead camp, and in through here is a ghost camp, and then over here is a orc camp. Every camp has different bosses and loot to get. And after you go through here, you can get fast travel to teleport over here. And there's a whole bunch of camps over here to go kill stuff in a tavern. and to get different loots and things. Then down here we have a like a boss, a group-based boss. This probably takes around 6 people. And then if you click into the door, you get teleported to the dungeon, which has a dragon raid boss, like a level 20 raid boss. And so we'll just walk you through a few of my systems. Go back to the testing level. We have like 3 core systems. One, our combat has rotation runes. And so the main goal of our combat is slow-paced combat, so you can actually socialize and communicate with your team. We want kind of strategic, being environment aware, about game knowledge, and kind of just very slow-paced, slowing things down. And the 2 main goals are we don't want you much button mashing, and we don't want you to have to AoE grind stuff. It's going to be very single target focused. If you're familiar with EverQuest, there is an enchanter in the game. That's what the class I'm working on right now. And so if you have 5 monsters in the group or in the pack, you're going to mesmerize 4 of them, and your team's going to DPS down 1 of them. But my kind of combat system is rotation ruins, and so with the enchanter, you rotate through your ruins by kind of like a combo system. And so my first ruin is going to be like a little pet that's fighting. And now I'm on my ruin 2, which can be like a stun. And then now I'm on my ruin 3, which could be a different pet. So my R1 pet was a sword and shield. Now my second pet is a dual wielding pet. So all your abilities change based on which rotation ruin you're on. And so you technically, and we don't have a natural critical hit. It's not like a % chance in Ruins of Tearyn. So for the enchanter, every 5 casts, so if I like stun, then I mesmerize, and now I have a critical cast. And so this upgrades all your abilities as well, and they can also change based on R1, R2, R3. If you sit, you can rotate through them directly. And so now I could cast an R2 pet, and instead of a one-handed axe, now it's a one-handed mace, fighting, and it hits harder, it interrupts more, all these things. And so even though you have 8 buttons, you have potentially 48 abilities you can cast, because you have your R1, R2, R3 for each ability, then you have your crit R1, crit R2, and crit R3 for each ability. And so I'm not sure how many, if I'm going to end up, maybe only rotation ruins are on the bottom 4 abilities, and that limits it to 6 abilities, 4 buttons. That's 24 abilities, and so it makes it a little bit less complicated. And then you have buffs and stuff at the top, but it's kind of, we'll see where we land on things. The other example, I need to go change my class in the cloud. 1 second. I'll show you the other example of the warrior here. So the enchanter was a little bit unique in that they're the first class that has their own way of switching through ruins, which is through the combo system, whereas everyone else is more because their pet basically is their auto attack, and so they actually don't have an auto attack. So they auto attack through their pet essentially, so that's a different system. But most classes will actually rotate through the ruins by auto attacking, and so that goes back to the idea of we want you to kind of be slow paced. And you can just wait for the right ruin that you want to cast for the right ability. And for melees, every 5 auto attacks you get a crit. And so I haven't implemented anything different about crit for the warrior yet. But the general idea is, so this is my R2. I can do an E, which is a kind of a stun. And then if I wait for 3 for my E, which is, I call it heavy attack. Now it's turned into a big kind of jump attack. And as you expect, we go down to R1. Now it's just kind of like a smaller attack that is a snare. And so all these kind of abilities are rotating through. And so my shift, which is my shield power, is interrupt at R1. I think R2 is an AoE threat. And then R3 will be a, I think it's like a damage mitigation buff. And so, each one has its own game kind of feel, its own ability, animation and stuff. It's what we're working on. Again, we're pulling from like a bunch of Paragon animations and stuff. So that Q was just a threat generator. Then R2, I think is a dot, so a lead attack. And then finally R3 on Q is, I think, a double attack. It's just damage. That type of thing. So then up here is your utility spells. So I have a pull, that brings it forward, and then my 2 is kind of a bigger, more threat, and then another AoE kind of threat generator, and you get some power along with it as well, and you grow in size. And they use stamina instead of mana type thing. And so that's like yeah, great. I'm happy you like it. And again, we're doing another playtest at the end of the month. We always invite as many people as we can because we're still stress testing our servers and trying to figure out where our limit is. We haven't hit any type of limit yet, so we're looking for as many people as we can get to break our servers. The next 2 systems are we have our Registry of Chronicles. This is our way of merging achievements and questing together. So we don't like quest hubs. That's the thing we don't like about WoW. We're a little more heavy on the EverQuest side of this. And we don't want to get a stupid fetch quest. So instead of getting a quest to go kill 10 bears, you just go kill 10 bears. And then you can just redeem the reward. We'll see if I have any. So here, 10 wolves. I've killed 10 wolves. Boom. 500 XP, And obviously right now, the Registry of Chronicles, it's only giving XP. In the future, it's going to be anything from recipes, loot, abilities. If you are a cleric and you go kill, 500 undead, you would get super smite undead, that type of thing. And that's how you can get. And the Registry of Chronicles is going to be class-based progression as well. And so it's going to be customized to your class, and you get unique things for your class. And then that kind of corresponds to our camp system. And I think you said you understand EverQuest. But on the map, you can go over and look at all the different camps that are available to go and just fight at. And we're taking that camp system and making it into actual game mechanics. And so now you can say, oh, this Earth Elemental drops a Thorn Shield for a warrior and a Hammer of Rejuvenation for a cleric. I'm going to go camp those. Usually, it's always better with groups. A lot of these open world stuff you can do. The idea is like open world or outdoor world. I said outdoor zones are a little bit more relaxed in difficulty. There's kind of solo, trio friendly. You can group. Obviously, grouping gives you bonus XP and things, so you can always do it with a group. But it's very kind of solo, duo, trio friendly on things. But if you notice, like everything is the same level range. It's all 10 to 14s. And that's because you can actually, through a trade skill called Metamorphosis, you can as you kill stuff, you get their essence, and you can craft crystals. Those crystals you can use in the area of them to increase the levels of that camp. And so maybe you're level 13 already and you're fighting level 10s and stuff. Well, you can use a bunch of crystals and it bump it up. If you use like 3 crystals, now they're levels 13 to 17. And their loot could be better. The bosses that can spawn could be harder. And at some cutoff point, the bosses will be like an upgraded Fabled version, if you remember that from EverQuest, and give Fabled drops of their gear as well. And so, if you notice, like sometimes maybe there's not loot for your class there, right? But so there's elementals here, and right now we only have a warrior loot and cleric loot. But in your own Registry of Chronicles, if you kill a bunch of elementals, maybe there's a rogue elemental dagger, here. So you still have options to get progression for your character through rewards, even if there's no specific loot for you at that camp. So there's like personal loot and whatever, And so that's the kind of idea. How populated will your areas be? Like how many people would be in one zone, for example? That's what we're trying to figure out with our stress testing. But we've never hit a cap yet. We would love to have 500 people per server, right? And so right now, the newbie yard and that zone there, the Emerald Rivers, is they're actually the same server. But I've separated them farther enough apart that if the newbies in everyone in the newbie yard won't get replicated to the people in Emerald Rivers. And so I've done a lot of optimization things, even with my own tech vertical third. There's tons of optimization things I've done for the network. And so we're trying to just find out where that number is. We've been told that a single Unreal Engine dedicated server is going to crap out around, somewhere between 100 and 200 people. But that always depends on your game architecture and how you set up your replication things. And so I'm hoping, based on my experience with Vertical Third and everything I've done with Vertical Third, that I do better than that. We'd be happy if we still get between 100 and 200 people per server, but we're going to continue to optimize and push the limits of a single Unreal server. And, if we get 500, I'll be like dancing on the moon if we get 500 people in one server, and the performance is really good. And keep in mind, because we're slowing down the pace of the game, even if you have like a 100, 200 ping, you're still going to be able to play optimally. And that's kind of like what goes into a little bit of what we enjoyed about the old days is, like I remember in early days of WoW, I could play WoW I could be in a dungeon in wherever on an air card, so my ping was probably around 200 or something at the best, and still be able to play optimally. And so it's one of those things where in one of my videos I talk about MMO, like if you remember RTS games, I'm sure like StarCraft and stuff, there was this concept of actions per minute. And those games were always insane actions per minute, like 100 something, clicks and stuff per minute. And I'd argue that a lot of MMOs, their combat is kind of at that same level, because all you're doing is spamming buttons. And if you miss a rotation, now you're 15th on the damage, meter. And yeah, 600 APM Korean super server. And so we don't want that in our MMO. We want you to like auto attack for a while, wait for the right ability, I call it like there's a game design concept in like strategy games. It's more about thoughts per minute instead of actions per minute. And the simple example there is chess, where you're not moving pieces constantly. You're not picking up things and moving them all over the place. You're thinking about what you're doing next, and then the move after that, and the move after that, and the move after that. And so we want that to kind of be your how you're kind of keeping your brain engaged and whatnot is what ability you're using next, what are your buff timers, what's your environment around. As you fight in different areas, patrols will always be like the highest level of that kind of area, and they'll also be placeholder for bosses. So if you're not careful, a patrol might come by and disrupt your group type thing. I'm put my class back to enchanter. But yeah, so that's the bit of the rundown. Don't know if you ever played Destiny, but they had public events that might be cool in yours too. Yeah, I did do that. I know what you're talking about. They have like those have been around for a while too. They even had those in Rift, and whatnot. Um, it's something to think about in the future, but I'm not too focused on it at the moment. I need to chow down a chomp stick. But yeah, we're definitely going to have some sort of event. We call it our Fabled Expeditions event, which is kind of like it's kind of into this stuff. Um, it gets into a little bit of like almost map buildings stuff from like Path of Exile. It's in like that genre of thing that's kind of playing into the Rift and Destiny public event things, merging them in some ways. But I haven't got that far yet. Hey, thank you for the follow. Yeah, I mean, in reality, this project itself only started about a year and a half ago, right? And so, um, um, we kind of like have a precursor, a prequel, if you would, that we created a whole bunch of tech that's making us build it much faster. Like if we go down to vertical third, so I have my vertical third folder, which is our game tech, right? I have all this stuff all pre-done, and I split up the character into a bunch of different components. So you got the action manager is how you like load and keep track of cooldowns. AI logic for combat, logic, movement, threat, animation component, crafting, death, experience, craft data, input, inventory, loot, progressions like talents and things, questing, scoreboard, statistics, targeting, team, user interface. Yeah. So I have all my combat system and stuff all ready to go. And a whole bunch of other stuff. And we're also being like smart with technology, right? One of the big reasons why MMOs fail is they try and innovate on technology, and that always bites them in the ass and either makes the project too expensive or dramatically more expensive. And in that one Indie MMO talk I did, breaks down how we're just going with what works, right? EverQuest was an MMO that existed like 25, 30 years ago, 1999, and we can use that framework and just cut costs like dramatically. We're not going to do a seamless loading world that jacks up engineering costs quite a bit. And I say this in my talk too, like loading is good for your game. People always, a lot of developers are like, oh, it's seamless loading is it's so amazing and all these open world stuff and massive worlds, and loading is just good for your performance of your game. It does clear a whole bunch of things and out of the memory cache and things. And by having smaller worlds, it's very fast. Like it's loading. Slow loading is bad. Fast loading is good. You mentioned Destiny, right? I one thing I hated them so much about Destiny and was because it felt like 20 to 30% of my time sitting down was spent at the loading screen. At like going from world to world just took forever to load. And um this was back on probably Destiny 1. I can't remember which version of Destiny I was playing at the time, but it just things took forever to load. And um with how I set up my levels and they're small. Yep, and if you were with someone with the worst internet, it was so much longer. Yep. And my levels are like they're small. They're like it takes a few minutes to cross my levels, right? Especially when you're avoiding monsters and those things. Being careful. But it takes like a few seconds to load my levels. If you go from the character, like I have a character select server, to load into the main world, it's a few seconds, and to go from the Emerald Rivers world to the dungeon, it's a few seconds. Like, and it helps you compartmentalize your game quite a bit. And so every zone, basically, it's its own server. So you have a character select server, you have our main zone server, and then we have a dungeon server. And then every other level is just going to be its own server. And, we don't have to think about supporting, 500,000 people online, right? It's only how many people are in that zone. And yeah, it might be that thing where we have to instance or like layering, like in classic WoW. We might have to do that and have different versions of a zone open. But that's just kind of we're an indie MMO. That's just our choice right now. That's the cheapest thing to do. And so yeah, we're trying to be very thoughtful about it. Now keep in mind as well, like we've only been working on this like barely part-time, right? We started it as out of kind of a need. Basically, we worked for Epic Games from roughly 2023 to at the end of 2024 on education content. We did the courses 5 through 8 for a major game development course, and they paid us to do that. But with the industry kind of in the kind of massive gutter, I haven't worked since then. So I've been we have 3 different projects we work on to try and get them funded. So we're doing like, publisher pitch decks and stuff. I'm looking for a job and stuff as well. I have been for a year. And yeah, the games industry is fucking terrible right now. The job market is terrible. And I feel like the games industry is like even worse. Like 60,000 people have been laid off in like the last 3 or 4 years, maybe even more than that. And it's just because I'm an indie dev, I don't have as many connections to different studios, and so I'm just at applying, which we all know is shooting your arrow into a dark room, into the void. Yeah. Yep, and I'm one of them. Yep. Applying is headbanging. Yep. So it sucks. It's really shitty right now. But yeah, I have 2 other projects I work on as well that are smaller scope than this, but this is kind of one of our things of like, okay, we built Vertical Third to do this. Vertical Third, as it was great, we got 100K for it, but it's not profitable outside of that.
And unfortunately, game tech just takes a very long time to sell, and um, this is kind of one of those things that we're trying to have that like Fortnite and Unreal Engine model, where we're building Ruins of Tearyn, we're using vertical third, we're trying to prove how good it is, and um, have that one game that what game better to prove your tech than an MMO, right? Um, and from there, hopefully, it helps increase sales and stuff, or other opportunities in the future. Um, but yeah, and so the past couple days, I've been so at the very end of last month, I started to work on the warrior class and the rotation ruins a bit more, and I got his changes in, and I got some different I pulled some Paragon animations to try and improve that flow a little bit, and so now I've been doing some feature additions for the enchanter, and because we had a whole bunch of different features I had to add to get their stuff working, so I had to add stagger into the game. That's just attacks have a chance to, or you can stagger enemies basically, and they get stunned for 5 seconds, and then you deal increased damage to them, and yada yada yada. So I had to do that. I had to add the critical cast system for them, which basically brainstormed me into a whole new field of gameplay. And because previously it was just, every 5 attacks you get a critical hit, and that's your big damage attack, used at the right time, in the right moment, right position. And now it's like, oh wow, that's a whole new ability. And so now before it was like 3 buttons per cast, or 3 abilities per cast, or 3 abilities per button, and now we could effectively have 6 abilities per button, which is like my brain's kind of going wild on how interesting that could actually be. And just being able to have my so this is the R1 Sword and Shield pet. If I cast a bunch of spells, yada yada yada. Now I have and I do now this is my R1 crit Sword and Shield, and so now it's a mace and shield, and so now it's different. And so my mind's just going kind of all over the place of the possibilities of this type of system. All on 3 days. Hello, Destra. And in EverQuest you had single target spells, then you had group spells. And so now I'm like, okay, well, I did a bunch of things for enchanters to have enchant weapon, which gives a passive ability to things. And so the crit version of these is now kind of area effect. So now we have this option for a single target spell is a non-critical ability, but then a critical ability will make it group based. And so I could go over here, and now everyone that gets hit by it has a kind of stagger proc buff. And these are short duration buffs that give everyone procs. And so we're kind of the enchanter is like a derivative of EverQuest, and so you have that kind of animated warrior. But I'm really leaning into that idea of enchanting things. And so you're enchanting steels and making them do stuff, enchant weapons. There's enchant weapons for stagger, to give a proc for stagger on enemies, for damage, to just proc extra damage, and then a power, which just gives you a stat boost of power. And then the next ability I need to work on is enchant armor, and I forget what I have for that. I don't think I did that entirely just yet. I kind of have ideas, but I need to test these as well. Have you thought about chanting allies or more raid-wide buffs instead? Yeah, so that's what that's kind of what I just went into. So you have your enchant weapons and enchant armor, and then you also have like a mana regen buff and haste buff for attack speed. But yeah, enchant weapons is like affecting procs and damage for weapons, and then enchant armor is the reverse of that. Is like potentially like oh shit things that like um, that basically like I have a enchanter robes that you can equip that gives you um, a proc that if you get hit, something gets automatically mezzed type thing. So um, I've been thinking about different like little proc things, like maybe like in EverQuest, enchanters had a ruin spell, which is basically a shield, um, and so you could cast that on the tank to reduce damage for like 1 to 3 hits. Um, I could do the one hit get mez thing, one hit knockback things, but I'm still thinking about how enchant armor could be interesting. Yeah, ruin my beloved. Yeah, ruins. Um, um, yeah, so I'm still thinking on how to make them unique. Again, thematically, I don't ever want the enchanter to have healing. Um, so I don't want to like do heal procs or anything like that. I want it to be very utility. Um, but yeah, and so like then like I have mesmerize changes to do and stun. So the crit stuns and the crit mezzes are going to be area effect and different versions of area effects. Like one area effect might be around you versus one that's ground target, like I was showing earlier. All right. Back to the crit holy light. Yeah. Yeah, that did some big heals. There's like so much. Again, my brain's kind of broken right now on the fact that I have six abilities per button now, um, and how much I could actually do with that is kind of nutty. All right. All right. So this one is going to be way easier to do. So we're not doing procs on this one. Um, so I can delete this and this. And this guy should have it cleared. Yep. And this one is, instead of being a passive, it's just going to be power. And we'll start kind of low. Um, we'll do 5 power. Let's go with that. Okay. And now crit R3. Here we go. Empowered, powered. That makes perfect sense. Now this one is going to be the AoE. But we're going to make this one, I think, a little easier to cast. I think it's 2.5, maybe. All right. Let's see if this is working. Okay, cool. Yeah, updated. Now, why did I give 10? There might be something from something else. Just something else didn't update properly. Okay. Yeah. All right, so now we're 3. We should be able to just cast this from over here. Okay, yeah. It's not working. Ah. Okay. Alright, so R3 cast. There we go. That may be a little bit too large. That's a pretty decent radius to buff your party. There we go. I wonder if power is actually modifying it. Gobsmacked right now. Well, you know, I can't wait to have you come play test, you know? I mean, if you're interested, I could just do a pop-up playtest. And you can play right now if you want. I could join you. Because basically I get free hours every month. That's why I'm like doing monthly tests. And so I could do like a 4-hour playtest if you're interested. And obviously, anyone else that wants to join, I have a couple viewers in the channel right now. If anyone else wants to join, we can do a pop-up playtest. I gotta shut down the many IDs I have. Lol. Also, my internet's quite dookie at 8 megabits. Oh, it's a very small game. It's like 1 point. Let me look at the. It's not even 2 gigabytes. It's 1.6 gigabytes. Yeah, there's always at the end of the month, right? Obviously, that's kind of like a spur of the moment thing, but I'm always open to like if people have a group of people that want to just come on and play randomly. If you have a group of friends, whatever, just ping me on Discord, and I can just turn the servers on for a while. Yeah, I'm gonna increase the cost of the group buffs. So for one person, it costs 10, but we're going to double the cost. So basically it becomes efficient at 3 or more. That should point to it, right? I think it does. I think that's the Ruins of Tearyn Discord in my About page, I believe. It should be the right one. If not, I can just link it here. It's that one. And then like I do this a lot too when I do playtests. Like I love taking screenshots. I actually have a whole spectator mode set up, and so I'm able to go around taking like a lot of cool screenshots from everyone. There's Lion. I think Jestra's in one of these. Which was that again? That's Eshgard. That's Eshion. There's Jestra. But yeah, I love. I have like a whole spectator, and I actually upgraded my spectator mode last session too. And like sometimes I use a lot of this content I'll use in my actual YouTube videos. Some cool shots. We have a cool marketplace weather and night system. Bunch of the different playtests, random playtests we do, random stuff. I showcasted one time I showcasted some of my one player trying to kill the boss there. I think I have a YouTube on this, not the showcaster version, but this was like I think this is like the version 1.0, so I hadn't tested against people, and so it was a mage that just went and soloed the whole thing. But yeah, a lot of good times. And yeah, I have my whole like my history of patch notes and stuff all here too. So I'm always out trying to keep everyone informed, everyone and myself informed. Like sometimes I need like I know at some point, like if I go upgrade vertical third, I'm gonna be like digging through my notes of like, what did I change here? What did I change there? Let me verify if the crit stuff is actually taking the right mana off. All right, so 86 should go down to 66. Yep, that's working. Okay, enchant weapons is done. That took a while. Bleh. I'm gonna leave enchant armor for another time at the moment. Yeah, I'm gonna do I think the crit stun stuff and mesmerize. Okay, so around caster should probably be the R1. The more control you have, I'm gonna say is um, the more expensive it is. Thank you. It's a lot of fun. I'll never get over this one. I always reference this, but I'll never get. If you go all the way to the top on my very first playtest, back in um, April, um, even in playtest, even like my first playtest, a bunch of ninja looters and exploiters, typical MMO players. Got a mage up here shooting down at a monster that can't hit him, and then someone abusing stealth that can go around and go loot all the stuff. It's just like, yep, that's MMO players for you. You're playing a, alpha game, not even alpha, pre-production indie MMO, and let's get let's exploit. Just like so funny. Players like to cheat any way they can. Okay, so And then I also forgot, I think, on this one, it needs increase rotation set, critical hit reset. And same thing here, I think. All right. So I have stuns and stuff already. Critical hit. Stun. So the critical hit stun is going to be what? What did I say it was going to be? Around the caster. I work on my own project, but as I've never finished a game, only ever worked on games and built specific systems. Here that I've just begun the game dev journey. Hey, everyone starts somewhere, dude, and I've technically never shipped a game or finished one, right? So, plenty of devs have gone their entire 15, 20-year careers without shipping a game, because they get the shitty luck end of the stick, you know. Every project they work on gets canceled. Um, the industry kind of sucks for that. I need this to be again, like I get frustrated, right? Because like I have gotten a lot of career success. I've gotten awards. I've gotten all these things, and yet I can't get a job. It's very frustrating. Um, and like I've launched a product. I built and launched a product myself, but how much does, AAA and stuff that say, oh, you need one shipped game, do they care about that? Probably not. And that metric is talked about a lot in our industry. That's a really shitty metric to have, because whether the game ships or not has nothing to do with the talent of the individual. That's um, way over their head if a game gets shipped or not. But I did a rant yesterday about this. But if you're starting a game project or whatever, try and do smaller projects. I say it a lot where we're in it, like for most of the games industry's like lifetime, everyone's trying to build the big game, the big long hour game. And there's a lot of people, especially in the last 5 years, that are just making bank on doing small games because there's a lot of small game ideas that haven't been explored, because the industry's so stuck on making a big game. And if you want to make your big RPG, um, go build your combat system and just your combat system, and like turn it into a roguelike, or break it out down into and then your next game after that could be adding quests to it, or something, maybe adding a story to it, and it's a different game. But you're trying to break up your big game into smaller sellable parts. And I tell people all the time, like, Ruins of Tearyn is my big game, right? It's $2 to $3 million project I'm pitching to get it, properly funded for like 5 people working on it for 5 years. Um, but I also have my $700,000 project for 3 years. That's like 2 people. And then I have my $200,000 project that's like 1 to 2 people for 1 year, and I'm trying to pitch them all right now, and whatever one hits. And the only reason why we even started, Ruins of Tearyn, like we're such a caveat, caveat, or you know, um, uh, this, asterisk for starting Ruins of Tearyn, because we have 3+ years of building game tech, and that's why we started Ruins of Tearyn. Because we have, 3 years of systems and things complete already. Otherwise, we definitely wouldn't have even started, but bothered starting it. All right. Stun critical hit. Let's test this. This is the R1 stun critical hit. Yep, we're working on a terrible curse of tech to achieve floating origin asset streaming. I think I lost my mind like 80 billion times. Yeah. That goes back to like, what I was talking about with the MMO. Like, MMO, understand why MMOs fail, and you really need to make sure you don't repeat history. And so, okay. All right. There's the area effect around me. That is a little bit too big. And we see it all the time, like Ash's Creation tried to do, network mesh stuff. Amped up the cost like crazy. They tried to do open world. They made the world too big. Like all the typical. The scope was massive. The world was massive. All the typical problems they kind of did, and look where it's at now. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I know. Like, it's like got some sort of demo. I even saw a job application for Dreamworld. I saw that pop up on my LinkedIn. I was like, what? And so there's Dreamworld. There's there's so many of the Kickstarter ones, right? It's like I don't want to. As much as I need a job right now, I don't want to ruin my name. uh, but yeah, I watch like tons of MMO content, right? And that's what I'm waiting. I'm waiting for one of those. One of those. I keep poking different MMO content creators, and I'm like, please, cover my game, play it, come on over, these type of things. But I haven't gotten anyone biting yet. It's like I just want to be like one of the top, 20 indie MMOs, to be on the watch list, right? Just like Monsters and Memories and Pantheon and Alduin Online, Apogea, or however you say that. And especially like if I just get on one of theirs, right? Everyone else will start covering it, and I'll actually get like solid playtests. Like that's the main thing. Like yes, I want the marketing, but I want to test my servers. I want to push them to their limits. That type of thing. All right, so first stun is done. And then the next one is targeted. AoE. 500, 500. I think this is dot five, dot five, dot five. This one will use the target lock actor. Current. I don't think I need this. All right. So now my stun should do an area effect around it. There we go. So a crit R1 stun is around yourself. A crit R2 stun is around the target. And now a crit R3 stun. One is going to be a ground target. Okay. Do you have any anti-stun in mind for bosses, like the stuns start being less effective after a quick? Yeah, I already have diminishing returns in, like you would expect from WoW. I think it's like every time you stun something and it's already stunned, it gets reduced by like 0.5 or whatever it is. And at some point, if you do it too much, they become immune to stun for 5 seconds or something like that. Yeah, that's all stuff I put in vertical third. I even have like a little, like this is a stat change thing. And so it's just a checkbox, diminishing returns. And so like you sound like you're a coder, right? Like so in Unreal Engine, data tables are just structs, and then so my data tables are my designer tools, which then break it. So that's like the database is the data tables, and so it's that the kind of like the coding like solid principles of keeping like I don't even know if it's solid principles, but keeping your data separate from your code. And so all the stuff in my game itself are data tables, and all the code, which is these data tables are the instructions on what to do for the systems, right? And vertical third, like all my components are where the code is, where those data tables break down structs and execute those instructions. Okay, this one is direction, location, target select, and I think that's everything. Oh, the target helper. Let's go with which one do I want here? Weapons. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. Oh, that one doesn't have a target helper. And I think on the AoEs, we're definitely not going to do full durations. Let's do. My experience with Unreal is so tiny since I only got to work with proprietary or Unity. Also because RAM is expensive, I have none. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you're ever interested in learning Unreal, like I've mentioned before, I may have linked it already, but um, I did make a course. You don't have to do the first 4 if you don't want to. Obviously, those are other creators. They have their own value, but the ones I did are courses 5 through 8. And we bring you through to try and prototype like six different game modes, like story, platformer, action combat, stealth survival, capture the flag, and crafting, I think. Um, and there's like a little bit of game design theory, art theory, little things like that throughout it all. UX theory, UI stuff. Um, and it's built, that course is built for beginners in game development, period, let alone Unreal Engine, you know. And the only caveat with the course right now is it was, Unreal Engine moves fast, and um, basically as the course launched, there was previously the Unreal Engine Marketplace. So all of our content is going to the Unreal Engine Marketplace to get assets and free assets. And as the course launched, Epic did their big conversion of all their storefronts into Fab. And so now some of the things that were on the marketplace used as free assets um, are now might not be there on Fab. And so you just use whatever assets you have, right? You don't have to use the ones we use. It's a general principle, but um, and I would suggest downloading the I think it's 5.3.3 or something. Use the engine version that we used during the course, which is, I think we say it all over the place there. All right, let me just see if this is working. All right, so now this should give me a selection tool. It did not. Okay. Okay, this is 03 credit. This is 3, right? No, this is not 3. Why did I click that? Oh three, oh three, oh three, oh three, oh three. So stun. Location. Okay. What am I missing? This is very strange. Oh, I'm pushing the wrong button. I think I'm still, I've been working on enchant weapons for so long. I'm testing enchant weapons, I think. All right, now E. There we go. Is stunned. Okay, we're good. So we have three different ways of doing an area effect, and the one that they have the most control over costs the most mana. That's another thing about the rotation ruin system I didn't mention, but R1s are supposed to be really efficient, so you have your base mana cost actually halved, and so there's supposed to just be that one thing that you can, if you know it's going to be a long fight or you're trying to save mana, use a bunch of R1s. But then in moments where enemies are weak, you're going to want to use your R3s because they're like more time efficient. And so, like I mentioned, stagger. If you can tell the enemy's about to be staggered, you're going to want to use your R3, big damage ability with crit, to kind of like burst it down at that stagger moment. And then monsters also take 20% more damage from behind. So combine that with being staggered, that's 40% more damage if they're staggered and you're behind them, and so you save your big crit damage spell for those moments, and you get a lot of bonus damage out of it. So there's like a lot of like kind of sort of deeper systems to it all. That goes back to WoW of like you did this in EverQuest too. It wasn't just WoW, but sometimes you'd have a lower ranked spell because it was more mana efficient for whatever reason. Um, okay. So now I can do the mesmerize. Oh, I do need to do Okay, they're set right. And then I will change the stun duration. What are we going to do? Area effect stuns can't be full duration. We're just going to do 4-second stuns, I think. Or maybe 2-second into a 3-second into 4 seconds. And now the mesmerize or sleep. So sleep critical hit is direction, current. I think that's all I need there. I don't think I even need that actually. I guess I do. Okay. This one's going to be a duration of like 10. To 15. And 30. So the next one is an AoE, target lock actor. And then finally, what is this one? Target helper. And change the target requirements. Oops. Alright, so first AoE Mez, R1 crit, should be just around me. There it is. Now the effect is not what it's supposed to be. I'll fix that shortly. Get my crit back. And now an R2 crit Mez is around the target. And then finally, an R3 crit Mez is a ground target. Sweet. And some of these had not the right. Effect applied, I think. And then mana costs now. Have to adjust that a little bit. I'll start with bumping it to 15 on each. Same thing for stun. All right, I think I'm going to update my notes here. Take a food break. We'll be lurking for now. Awesome. Well, thank you for stopping by. Yeah, and the next playtest is like the 28th to 31st. It's the end of the month. It might actually be, yeah, that should be right. 28th to 31st. Okay. So, as far as abilities that are at least this phase complete, stun's complete, mez is complete, enchant weapons is complete, haste and regen I'm not touching. They're just going to be standard buffs. I'm still not sure how I'm going to handle just buff abilities. And then the pet is complete for this phase. Got 6 different pets on one button. And then, so the only thing left for the enchanter is memory wipe and enchant armor. And with that, I think I might need my own food break. Every time I sit down to just do something with the enchanter, I have to like touch up or implement a mechanic. So those are done. So yeah, now it's the memory blur, I think. I cannot wait for my other classes. I can't wait just to be done with the enchanter. I know it's only been like 2 or 3 days, but it's like every time I sit down and do something, it's gotta implement this. Oh, gotta do this. Oh, gotta do that. Um, I'm also debating if every time our stuff changes, do I actually on the client change your abilities that go with it. Would be a little bit distracting regarding combat, I think. I could just not change icons. I could just change the descriptions and keep the base icon. In that way, if you mouse over, I could have like a little dot or something that maybe just the dots move. That kind of show the stage. I think I need a break. Yep, I'm gonna take a break. Thank you for watching. I'll might be back a bit later, but for now, I'm gonna take a break, get some food, check on my kiddos. They're out and about doing stuff. So I'll see you guys around. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it, and hope to see you soon. Take care.